So the PGYTECH RetroVa is designed to speak to the retro crowd, but hidden inside this vintage design is a solution to a very modern problem. Does it pull it off? Let's get into it. So just one quick note before we get into it. PGYTECH provided this kit to share my thoughts. I'm not getting paid, but they did give me the kit, and the links in the description below will go towards supporting the channel. Now, there are a lot of retro-styled iPhone accessories right now. Cases, grips, lens systems, most of them are making the same argument. Make your iPhone feel more like a real camera while looking the part. The RetroVa is making that argument too. But there's something underneath the vintage look that I do think is a bit of an X factor. And to me, it's the most interesting thing about this product. It's a micro SD card slot. So the RetroVa is two things, a case and a grip designed to work together as a system. And the kit I have here includes a 2.35x lens as well. The case has a silver-coated finish, black lychee green leather texture, and CNC machined lens ring, and a swappable plate for both filters and lenses. The grip slides onto the case with a slide-to-lock mechanism. It's pretty clean and fast, and it locks well. There is soft touch leather grain type material on the grip itself, a 1/4" 20 thread on the bottom for any tripod or mount. Now, people who follow this channel know I've been pretty hard on grips on this channel in general, and the reason is that it adds friction to the experience. A grip that makes it harder to use your phone does need to justify that trade-off. Generally, grips make the phone harder to use as a phone. The RetroVa is the first functional grip I've used that I'll actually describe as pocketable. It's not nothing. There's real substance here as a grip though. There's something really to hold on to. But the profile is manageable. It goes into a jacket pocket, it goes into a jeans pocket. I'd argue it's something you can almost EDC this grip if you want to really just carry the device like this every day. Now let's go through the controls because this is where the real camera claim either holds up or starts falling apart. First, the shutter button. So at the top right of the grip, right where your index finger naturally lands, there's a two-stage shutter, half press to lock, full press to fire shutter button, and works well in the PGYTECH app. In general, it works very well, although I found that I had to make sure that the focusing reticle was in the right place quite often. In terms of feel, however, I do think PGYTECH nailed the feel here. There's a real mechanical click and no mushiness. It's accompanied by solid focus and shutter audio feedback from the app. There are some quirks to it. The fleshy part of your thumb might shift the screen, or you might not have it positioned right before that first shot. This is a similar experience as I've had with other grips. But over the first few days, I personally did get a handle on its idiosyncrasies and started really enjoying the experience. Now there is a zoom rocker on the front of the grip. In both the native and PGYTECH app, this controls transitions in and out very, very smoothly. It's well dampened and doesn't seem to jump. It's responsive without being a hair trigger. You're not accidentally zooming in every time you shift your finger. I'd rate it as actually the best zoom rocker I've used for the iPhone, better than everything else I've tried in terms of smoothness. But there's more. Some grips only include a shutter and maybe a zoom rocker. Some grips have two knobs and a zoom rocker. This one does have one extra dial, but you can configure the mode button to toggle between different settings so you can control anything you want with that one dial. It feels quality, it's knurled for good texture, feels very well dampened, and spins smoothly without feeling loose. You can also move to the setting you want on screen, and the dial will adjust what's active in the PGYTECH app. I've had no issues with the grip not registering the toggle or the settings adjustments, and though there were times I accidentally spun the dial when I didn't mean to, in real life running gun settings, I found the dial function very usable. The grip connects via your iPhone's USB-C port, which means while the grip is on, the port is occupied. For me, this means no wired external microphone. If you want to use an external mic with the RetroVa, you are going to need to use a mic with a Bluetooth connection. That's a real limitation depending on your workflow, but for many, Bluetooth is fine. But if you rely on a wired lav or a shotgun mic plugged directly into your iPhone, you do need to plan around that a little bit, so just keep that in mind. Now flip the grip over and two things will become very obvious. There's a 1/4 20" thread, so this lets you mount it straight onto any tripod or mount, no adapter required. That again removes friction from a travel shooter. And like I've said with other grip tripod mounts, you'll want a heavier duty tripod or it's just going to tip right over. And this slot, this is the one. Let's talk about this properly. Now your iPhone's always been capable of shooting great photos and videos. You can shoot in higher quality, including HEVC and ProRes. There's actually three separate problems here from my perspective, and before the RetroVa, I'm not sure there was a clean solution to any of them. Problem number one, hand grip. Now there's a reason most dedicated cameras have some kind of protrusion on the side, a grip that helps you hold the camera a bit more confidently so you can focus on the shot, not on keeping hold of the device. The phone is pretty much a flat slab of metal with no real grip. And the moment you plug an SSD into the bottom of your iPhone for more storage, you make it even harder to hold. Your hand position is gone, you're working around the thing plugged in as well, not just the camera, not just the phone. And I made a whole video on grips over the years because I care about this enough to spend real money figuring it out. Problem number 2, size and seamlessness. Now, if you want to shoot in maximum detail, especially in video, it's going to take up space. So a lot of people add an SSD for extra storage. But even the smallest SSDs are a second object on your phone. Third object if you want to use a grip. They're attached to your phone, not a part of it. There's always a wire that could fail, get tangled, or just be in the way. And it compounds problem number 1. Your grip is already compromised, and now there's something dangling off the phone somewhere. The whole point of shooting on an iPhone is that it's easy, it's always with you. One device, one pocket, one motion out of your pocket. The moment you usually add external storage on a cable, you've kind of broken that, and you've turned a point and shoot into a rig, and that's not how I want to shoot. And then problem number 3, cost. If you're looking for a fast, reliable SSD for ProRes recording, you're looking at real money. It's not cheap. Now, microSD cards at the speeds you need to be able to shoot ProRes on it are not cheap either. I want to be honest about that, but here's the thing. When you add up the SSD plus the enclosure or MagSafe mount to actually keep it attached to your phone, the delta does change a little bit. But if you're someone who shoots video on an action cam or something else, there's a good chance you've already got a high-speed microSD card or 2. And that's perfectly well if you're not shooting ProRes but shooting at HEVC. So a microSD slot in the script could solve all 3 problems for you at the same time. It solves the hand grip problem, the storage is inside the grip, your hand position is natural or improved, nothing's really dangling, you're just holding a camera. So size and seamless problem is solved as well. You forget the card is there until you pull it out at the end of the day, and it's one device, one pocket, one motion, and you can just pull that into Final Cut or whatever else you're doing. And in terms of a cost, it's debatable, but you might already have some microSDs to plug and play into this grip without anything further. And if you're not shooting ProRes necessarily, but shooting HEC for the most part like me, you don't need the V60 or the V90 microSD card. I shoot HEVC and Apple Login for archival family video. That's more than sufficient for me. Now, one limitation to call out, 4K 60 ProRes is not supported. The microSD interface has a ceiling and 4K 60 ProRes does push past it. But for storytelling family content, in my view, 4K 30 is more than I would use. But if 4K 60 is a deal breaker for your workflow, you need to know that kind of going into this purchase. But here's a question. Do you actually shoot ProRes on your iPhone? Drop it into the comments below. I'd love to know if you actually just shoot HEVC instead of ProRes like me for what you do. And would you want me to actually run some technical tests on this, write speeds, real world recording, card comparisons? Let me know. I do read everything. So I'd say the hardware for the PGYTECH Retro Kit is actually quite good. However, the PGYTECH imaging app is what the group is actually built around. And it's something I was already using before PGYTECH sent me this kit. Now, I'll say it's a pretty good app generally, and there's definitely a lot going for it. I'll highlight a few things that I really like, and a few things that I hope will improve over time as, of course, PGYTECH further develops the app. Now, the interface is laid out like a classic film camera. There's a dedicated retro layout with the ability to switch between film simulations, but you can switch to a more technical layout and back by swiping down from the top, which is nice if you do want that more app feel. And that's actually how I use it generally. It does have full manual control, so shutter speed, ISO, white balance, and the control dial on the grip maps directly to whatever you have active. Now, there are a number of built-in vintage film presets, so classic film aesthetics without having to grade everything in post. And for quick family content where you aren't planning to edit heavily, being able to lock a look in camera is very useful. There are a significant number of film simulations that are quite recognizable if you've ever shot film or Fuji or Ricoh, such as Classic Chrome, Classic Negative, Velvia. The film simulations are very good. They are kind of what they are though, with limited customizability options other than intensity. There are other apps that give you more granular control, pulling individual parameters, building your own profiles. The PGYTECH film simulations are more curated. You're choosing from what they've built, not really building your own, but they do look really good. For people who want to dial in a very specific look, you may find yourself wanting more. To me, To be honest, I do think it helps me from overthinking things in the moment, but to each their own. Video options are solid and work intuitively. There's easy manual controls, Apple Log 2, HEVC, H.265, and ProRes are all there. One thing I would like to see is auto ISO in shutter priority. For my style of running and shooting, that would make this the complete package. And in terms of performance on both photos and the video side, I have occasionally noticed lag at various points in the experience. For instance, for photos, I've noticed some lag when using it to take photos with film simulations. For videos, sometimes it seems like the viewfinder is lagging a second behind the scene. Toggling in between photos and videos or just restarting the app seems to resolve the problem. I don't think this is a hardware issue though, so I have high hopes this can be improved as the software is updated. Now you can buy the RetroVa in a couple different configurations, but for me the 2.35x telephoto lens is the other half of the full kit. And on the iPhone 17 Pro Max that I'm shooting with here, the 2.35x extender stacks on top of the native 4x telephoto, which is a 100mm full frame equivalent. So you're reaching a 235mm equivalent optical lens. Push 2 times in the digital zoom and you're at 470mm. The numbers work differently on the iPhone 16 Pro, but the concept is the same. And in real-world use, I found the lens took exceptionally sharp photos. With a teleconverter like this, the base lens is as sharp as you're going to get, but with the 2.35x lens on, photos and videos still look great. Autofocus worked well, colors were neutral, giving a lot of options in the edit. For portraits, the lens adds a very pleasing bokeh effect. Additionally, cheaper lenses will often add weird colors in high contrast areas called chromatic aberration. Now this lens doesn't have this in any significant way that I could notice. It's also pretty sharp across the lens, and I have no qualms whatsoever shooting with this lens when another one of my more expensive setups isn't available. In fact, I'd prefer to shoot with this in many situations as I don't have to lug around a full mirrorless setup. And I'm planning a more detailed video on the lens down the road, going deep into sharpness, chromatic aberration, distortion. I think those all warrant their own deep dive. If people are interested, I'll compare against all other telephones that I own as well. But in general, everything was well within the range I would feel very comfortable using day to day. And when paired with the PGYTECH app, it's a pretty strong combination. The RetroVa also supports 67mm filter adapter rings, which are sold separately. Note if you're on the non-max model, you're looking at a 62mm size instead. But if you already own 67 or 62mm ND filters or a circular polarizer, you can use them here. For video, an ND filter is what lets you maintain proper shutter control in bright conditions. Now 67mm is a pretty common thread size, so whatever you're actually invested in, you might actually have one already. It does help me to get a smoother cinematic shot though, and I do love the flexibility. And here's what I keep coming back to with the RetroVa. There's a whole category of vintage styled iPhone accessories right now. Most of them lead with the aesthetic, the leather, the retro vibe, the film look, and that's fine. I get the appeal. But I think each vintage kit goes at it a little bit differently. And with the RetroVa, the vintage styling looks good, but to me, the microSD slot is actually what makes this interesting. It solves real problems that the aesthetic alone never could. Is it a vintage camera? No, it's an iPhone. But the RetroVa gives you back some of that charm. And through modern hardware, modern optics, and your iPhone's computational engine running underneath all of it, it is actually a very interesting package. The retro is the style, but it does include benefits like the microSD, which makes it, to me, modern vintage. So again, links to the full RetroVa system are in the description. And if you're new here and you shoot family video on your iPhone, or you're trying to figure out what gear actually moves the needle for you, hit subscribe. That's what this channel is all about. So again, I'm Rico Dad, just a dad of a camera, figuring things out. Until next time, peace.